I recently checked the National Grid website in the UK. On a day when it was quite cold, it was only 3 degrees centigrade, there was a brisk wind, but no more than maybe 15 to 20 miles an hour. And I was checking to see how much electricity was being produced by the 4,414 installed and operational giant wind turbines across the whole of the UK. To my shock, but perhaps not to my surprise, the total amount of energy they were producing was 0.1%. By contrast, coal-fired power stations were providing over 40%. Now this helped to illustrate how completely unreliable and inefficient these types of renewable energy systems are. Even if you doubled the number, even if we had 10,000 of these wind turbines, then we would be able to produce 0.2% in similar weather conditions, when it's cold, when we need the power. So it's a completely pointless but massively expensive form of electricity production. And because it's so expensive, because it has driven average electricity prices in Scotland up to £1,400 per year for electricity bills, 900,000 households in Scotland are now in actual fuel poverty. More than 10% of their weekly output goes on paying for fuel rather than food. And that choice is a terrible choice for people in an economic stringent time to have to make. And because of these high electricity prices, we're now destroying jobs in the main economy, in business and industry. We're driving jobs out of the tourist sector. We're seeing the renewable energy companies now in a gold rush to build these wind factories in some of the most beautiful parts of Scotland, surrounding Loch Ness, surrounding Loch Lomond, overlooking the Championship Golf Course in St Andrews, or the Championship Golf Course in Turnberry, and now almost completely surrounding the village of Straiton in South Ayrshire. Now, the plans for 5 separate wind farms to build a ring of steel around this picturesque and almost unique village is the latest form of national vandalism of our landscape, and is going to destroy many jobs in the tourist sector. Straiton Village, which has survived for more than 250 years, a beautiful rural village on the edge of the UNESCO biosphere, right next to the Galloway Forest Park and the Dark Skies Park, attracts ramblers, hill walkers, holiday makers from all across the world. In fact, it attracts movie makers. It's where the great movie The Queen was filmed, starring Helen Mirren. It has a famous pub called the Black Bull Hotel, which dates back to 1766. They have a picture of Bing Crosby on the wall when he came there after he'd been golfing in Turnberry for a pint. And now we're going to surround this beautiful village with a ring of steel, destroying the landscape, destroying the beauty of this tranquil village. And we're doing the same on the edge of the Cairngorms National Park, in the borders, in some of the most spectacular parts of Scotland. It's a ruinous policy. It's driving up prices. I ask the people of Scotland, does anyone honestly believe that even if we covered Scotland from one end to the other with these giant steel and concrete windmills, is it going to reduce global CO2 emissions by a single gram? Of course it isn't. The Chinese are opening a new coal-fired power station almost every day of the week to provide the steel that builds our wind turbines. Alex Salmond spoke about 130,000 green jobs, and he's probably right. But these green jobs are not being created in Scotland. They're being created in Denmark, in Germany, in China, in the places that are producing the kit that is then shipped into Scotland and mostly erected by foreign workers in Scottish wind factory sites, wrecking our environment, wrecking our landscape, wrecking our jobs, and not helping global carbon emissions. It's a pointless, expensive and stupid obsession, and it should stop.